everybody and welcome back to my channel. So following on with the scrunchie tutorial, I'm doing another tutorial on using up scrap fabrics and things that you might have at home already. So today we're going to use, well, I'm using upholstery weight fabric, but you don't have to if you don't want to. It just makes for a much stronger item. So we're going to make some recycled or scraps tote bags. So basically the story behind this is I love making shoppers anyway because I use them all the time. I'm a totally anti-plastic carry bag person, and our house is full of reusable bags like this. They're so useful that you can roll them up in your different handbags, and I keep loads in the car. And last year, one of our local Dorset sort of arts enterprises asked me for one of their events whether I could make loads of recycled tote bags for goodie bags for everyone, and they had another screen printing artist there who was screen printing them. So one of them I managed to get screen printed. How cool is that? So sadly I am not a screen printer and I don't have all the kit to do that, but I thought that I would show you how I make my panelled bags. So Mum, Kay and I made, I think, 150 or 200 of these bags last year for their event, and they're so fun to make. They don't take that much time, and it's just a great way to use up recycled upholstery weight fabric. So if you have an old pair of curtains, you never know what to do with them, this is great. You don't have to do it panelled like this. It just means that the reason why I did this design is that I could use smaller scraps of fabric to make them up. And I just love the combination of like loads of different scrap fabrics together, and believe me, even the ugliest fabrics can look really cool together. We discovered that quite early on. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy this tutorial, and also they make great gifts, so when we're all out of isolation you can have all your birthday gifts ready to go. Anyway, let's get making. Okay, so for this project you will need lots of not too big pieces, I'll show you the measurements in a minute, but some quite big pieces of upholstery weight fabric. You can use thinner fabric, but upholstery weight or old curtain fabric works really well for this. A pair of scissors, some pins, matching machine thread and a sewing machine. Okay, so here's the measurements that you'll need to make this panelled bag. As you can see, we've got fabric 1 at the top that makes both top pieces, and then fabric 2 goes all the way and makes the whole bottom edge, and then you'll need handles. So for fabric 1 you'll need 2 pieces for each end, measuring 36 centimeters by 26 centimeters, so 36 wide, 26 centimeters long, sorry. And then for fabric 2 you'll need a much larger piece, so again 36 centimeters wide, but you'll need it 36 centimeters tall, so it'll be a bigger square piece of fabric. So for fabric 1 that goes on the tops, 36 by 26 centimeters, and for fabric 2, which makes the gusset, is 36 by 36. And then you'll need 2 more strips of fabric measuring 10 centimeters by 80 centimeters long, and you'll need 2 of those and they'll make your straps. Okay, so I have my fabric 1 piece here, which is going to be the bottom. So I'm going to lay that right sides up, although because it's upholstery fabric it's double-sided because it's check. And then I'm going to get my fabric 1 piece, which is this lovely floral curtain fabric, and I'm going to lay that right side down, so right sides together on top, aligning those edges. And I'm just going to pin these 2 sides together. Okay, so now I've got these edges pinned, I'm going to sew this with a 10mm seam allowance with a straight stitch all the way along this edge. And then I'm just going to finish the raw edges with a zigzag, so quite a large zigzag on the very edge. Okay, so once you've done your sewing, it should look something like this. I know I've been a bit mean and I've done it in white thread. That's probably better side. So I've got my straight line a 10mm seam allowance there, and then I've just zigzagged the raw edges with quite a large zigzag. So I've also just pressed the seams down towards the main bottom piece, so down towards fabric 2, and then I've repeated it on the other side. So you should have something that looks like this. So I've got my main piece in the middle and then my 2 shorter pieces on either end. Okay, so now what you need to do is fold it right sides together. So I've got my 2 fabric 1 pieces together at the top, and then my bottom piece is folded in half. So we're now going to do the side seams of our bag. So a good sort of like professional finish is to get these 2 joining seams on top of each other. So I'm going to pin those first. So you should see something like this. So can you see that those lines will be on top of each other? And I'm going to do the same on the other side. And we're just going to pin all these edges together. So I'm going to repeat the same stitching I did to join our pieces together. So I'm doing a straight stitch with a 10mm seam allowance, and then I'm going to use a large zigzag to zigzag all the raw edges. It started to get really overcast and cloudy here, so I really hope the lighting's still okay. So once you've done those side edges, it should look something like this, but with less bits of fabric caught in the seam. So I've got my straight line of stitching, 10mm seam allowance, and then I've got my zigzagging over the raw edges, and then you're going to repeat that on the other side. Okay, so once you've done both side seams, it should look something like this, like an inside out bag, and this is the bottom fold. So now what we're going to do is make our straps, but first I'm just going to basically press this top edge down and make a rolled hem. So what I'm going to do is press it down by 2 centimeters and then press it down again by 2 centimeters, and then once it's pressed and even all the way around, we're going to make our straps. Okay, so to make our straps, you're going to get your 2 long pieces that we cut, and you're just going to fold them in half lengthways, and again we're going to pin all the way down these long edges, and we're going to pin and sew these long raw edges together. And you don't need to do anything with the ends. We're just going to concentrate on getting a 10mm straight line seam allowance all the way down. And if you want to, you can zigzag the raw edges if you want your bag to last extra long. But we're just going to concentrate on doing a straight stitch all the way down, 10mm seam allowance on both straps. Okay, so now I have my 2 straps with my little 10mm seam allowance on those raw open edges. So if you grab, we now need to turn these basically the right way out. So if you have a safety pin to hand, or however you like, if you've got one of those special tools that you can attach to one end and turn them inside out, then use that. But a safety pin works just as well. So I've just attached the safety pin into the seam allowance, and I'm going to pop the safety pin inside and then just slowly start turning it inside out. There we go. So all I'm going to do now is do the exact same to the other strap, and then I'm going to press these really flat. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can press them. You can press them so that this seam that you've sewn is on the sort of like the center of one side, and that would be the inside. But I like to actually press mine to the side because I think it's less obvious, and because we're going to top stitch these in a minute, I think it looks slightly more hidden, and then both sides of the strap look equally as nice. Okay, so once you've pressed your straps really neatly flat, this is what they'll look like. A good steamy press really helps. And I've got my seam on one edge. Now we just need to top stitch these down. So you're going to have a line of top stitching on your seam edge, really close, and a line on the opposite side, just so that it's equal and it looks really neat. So once you've done that, it should look something like this. So I've got 2 lines really close to the edge. so both sides of the strap just look super neat and professional. And I'm going to show you how I quickly do that on my machine, because I'm lucky in my Janome machine, my foot has a little notch in the actual foot, and it's a few millimeters in from the seam. I think it's like a just shy of a 5mm seam allowance, or maybe it is 5mm. And I use that to line up against. So I'm just going to show you how I do this, but however you want to do it, you can. It's just to get that stitching as close to the edge as you can, just so it looks super neat and professional. Okay, so I've got my two straps now, both neatly top stitched, and I have my main bag piece, and I've just pressed that edge by 2 centimeters and then 2 centimeters again, so it's a rolled hem. There's 2 and then 2 again, all the way around. And so now I'm going to insert my straps into place. So all I'm going to do is put them, make sure that there's no twist in the actual strap, and then you're going to pop the ends just tucked under that rolled edge like that. And I'm just going to, I mean, you can measure it if you want to, but I cheat and I just use my fingers as a measurement, so I get it roughly the same both sides, and I'm just going to pin those in place. So just to make sure, I'm just going to fold this strap like that, so that I know that there's no twist in the strap at all. And then you're just going to repeat that for the other side. When you're doing the other side, however, you now have a position underneath to feel where those two straps are, so it should be a lot easier to match than this side. Okay, so now that I have them pinned in place, I'm going to sew really close to this folded edge first. So my straps are downwards for now, and I'm going to leave them downwards, and my bag is obviously the wrong side, wrong way round. And I've got my rolled hem. So what I'm going to do is, if I show you closer, I'm going to sew really, really close to this edge here so that all my straps are safe inside. And then we press up our straps afterwards. So just for now, do like a 5mm seam or even closer all the way along this open edge, all the way around in a circle. Okay, so once you've done that, it should look something like this. I ignore what I said before. I actually did mine like 3mm from the edge, or maybe even less. Now what you're going to do is press your straps upwards so that they're that way. And then if I flip it over, from the front, with your straps now up, you're going to do the exact same line, but this time that far away from this side of the edge. So always do it from the front, because it'll be easier to see, especially when you go over your straps. So now you'll have 2 lines of stitching. So whatever you did here, really close to the edge, do the same, but now really close to this edge. And that way it will also secure your straps upwards, and then they've been sewn twice, so they'll be super strong. So once you've done that, it should look something like this. And then from the inside, you'll have your straps that's secured inside that rolled hem, and you'll have it top stitched from the top. So there you have it. Give it a good press and you're done. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or if you think that you want me to go over anything. But yeah, super fun, doesn't take much time, and they'll last for such a long time. I've still got some that I've made like years ago that have been through the wash many, many times, and they're still going. So yeah, the perfect sort of isolation sewing craft to do with fabrics that you might already have in your house ready. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Like I said before, comment below if you have any questions. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me. And you can also turn on your notifications if you want to know when I've uploaded next. Now that we are in isolation, I'm aiming to film loads more content for you all, and my aim is to upload every Tuesday and every Friday for now. So we'll see how that goes. I can't really make any promises, but that is my aim and that is my goal, and I'm hoping that I will stick to it. But yes, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all again soon. Happy handmade, everyone.